Malaysia Tzu Chi volunteers support an elderly through his family misfortunes. Nearly 40 community volunteers gathered in Taitung, Taiwan to help an isolated elderly to clean up her home. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Joyce Ho. Thank you for joining us. In Malaysia, Kow Chan Tuck's son fainted while he was working 3 years ago, leaving him paralyzed. Later on, Mr. Gow's wife also suffered spinal nerve issues. Tzu Chi volunteers continue to provide care and support for this family.
Kow Chi Man, who was once a chef, fainted while he was working 3 years ago. He became paralyzed and was unable to take care of himself. His father, who is over 70, moved down from Ipoh to Kuala Lumpur just to take care of him.
The company said that this is a hereditary disease, so they are not going to pay for what has happened to him. We can only rely on the medical insurance card.
Kow Chi Man is the only child in the family. To support their daily expenses, his mother became a noodle vendor. However, the large medical expenses have been very hard on the two aging parents, so much so they had to ask for outside assistance. Besides providing daily subsidies, team of doctors and officials from the welfare department also visit the family and provide medical assistance. Volunteers also conduct regular home visits towards this family. After the son was bedridden for 2 years, the mother also developed spinal nerve issues and has undergone surgery twice. Unfortunately, both the mother and son passed away in the beginning of the year, leaving the elderly father behind.
We have advised the father to stay in contact with the volunteers or possibly find an old folks home and help him settle down.
After their funerals, volunteers have headed over to care for the father. It is hoped that through accompanying, Kow Chan Tuck will know he's not alone.
Tzu Chi Eye Center in Manila, Philippines serves hundreds of patients per week, providing medical assistance to patients with eye diseases. A public school teacher was affected by cataracts and was causing her to go blind. Following surgery at Tzu Chi Eye Center, Hazel regains her vision once again.
4 in the morning, Mario Neri was the first to arrive at the Tzu Chi Eye Center. While he is hungry, food is already prepared.
I'm thankful to Tzu Chi Foundation. Not only did they cure my eyes and provided free medication, they've also arranged a surgery for me and gave us fried noodles.
Public school teacher Hazel suffers from cataracts. Both of her eyes are nearly blind. At 51 years old, the disease has affected her teaching quality and further disturbed her agenda to take care of her senior parents.
Usually I take care of my parents. They're 85 and 80 years old, and I do not want them to worry about me. My biggest worry is that if one day I'm blind, how are they going to live without me?
Hazel was actually here 2 years ago, accompanied by her mother while checking her eye condition, but due to work she had to delay the surgery until this year.
I'm here receiving the eye surgery, but what I found more is the healing of my heart. In the past, I felt that I was doing good deeds by teaching, but after meeting you, I understood what is the true meaning of giving warmth and love.
Tapos, alam mo yung effort nyo, natural.
The incidence rate of oral cancer ranks high in Taiwan, especially in its eastern regions. Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center's Vice Superintendent Chen Pei-rong has dedicated his career into the treatment of head and neck cancers. With the joint efforts of his team, patients are receiving much support and encouragement.
"60-year-old Yu Genghai loves magic as he is a talented magician. He is able to perform once more as he went on a long journey of recovery.
After my surgery, my entire row of teeth was removed. None was left. The lower jaw had no teeth and the upper jaw had only 6 teeth.
I couldn't accept the fact that he's like this. How is he sick like this? Because he was originally very healthy, and during the process of chemotherapy, he had many thoughts on giving up.
When I was undergoing chemotherapy, the pain made me want to end my own life. But after my case manager, Xie Shulan's explanation, and along with the help from other nurses and doctors, I overcame this negative thought.
医生劝说跟解释，慢慢才打消念头。
所以这个每天换吗？
This is our job. Our job promotes patients at the center. So before treatment, during treatment, and after treatment, we bring utmost sincere care to patients throughout the entire process.
那为什么会这样子？当然很。
Why did this happen? It's because many locals think that chewing betel nuts is refreshing, but it's actually proclaimed as a Group 1 agent for cancer by the WHO.
致癌物了，在 WHO 是认定是一级致癌物。
我看卖，今仔交通的情形有较好啦。好，再去几点去做高压氧？
点到12点。
12点吼，好。看开情形有慢慢改善，是，即马慢慢疼得较少吼。我自看来者。好，迄个。 袂疼啦吼，袂啦吼，
即摆袂疼。
你食食甲困眠拢会使吼，
拢会使
吼，
介好，
看你精神，介好。
Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center's Vice Superintendent Chen Peirong has spent 30 years in eastern Taiwan, assisting patients with head and neck cancer treatment. From an empty department to a fully built team, the team now treats 70% of head and neck cancer patients in eastern Taiwan.
那没有保留 iOS 的话，它术后产生一个 new onset diplopia 的这个几率从2成到5。
现在已经有那个8位主治医师，对，而且每一个人都。
Now we have 8 attending physicians, and everyone is great in their respective fields, so now I feel much more relaxed.
For 30 years, Chen Peirong dug into the field of head and neck cancer treatment. While listening to patients' needs, he established a patient association, encouraging patients to talk to each other, spreading positive energy.
我想病友会最主要就是经由
I think the patient association serves to bring patients together in order for them to exchange life experience. This is important. Furthermore, they may also comfort each other while sharing some life experiences.
也可以告诉他们一些生活的经验。
Recently, I heard a lot of people say that I don't have teeth and I can only drink milk formula every day. What are other types of food I can consume?
生这个病也不是我们愿意的，那最主要医生帮我们。
We didn't ask for the disease, but after being treated by the doctor, we have to rely on ourselves. Once I joined the Patients Association, and after listening to the nutritionist's analysis, I've gained much experience.
跟解剖让我们得到很多丰富的经验。这个戒指在这个橡皮筋对心免疫的影响，怎么啦？它也不会上。
所以他其实就是一个心理建设还蛮好的一个病人，所以他。
Now he actually is mentally healthy patient. This is why he's willing to go out and share with current patients. What he's doing now is treating other patients, and I hope that in the future I can be like Yu Genghai. He's really a great role model.
And Darling Jiayi, a 96-year-old grandma Lin with hearing and vision loss, lives a lonely life. Tzu Chi International Medical Association volunteers visit her regularly and help clean up her living environment, bring her a little warmth and support.
Tzu Chi volunteers walked into the alley and came to 96-year-old Grandma Lin's house. A different smell came out. Grandma Lin is hard of hearing, blind, and dementia. Because of urinary incontinence, she was soaked in bed.
大便。你拿卫生纸。哎呦！哦，你们来这里哦。哦，你们来这里。
其实他们家功能不好，所以基本上都是。In fact, their family conditions are not good, so they basically rely on social institutions, including a long-term care unit to help them. So those care institutes are really important for disadvantaged families.
Originally, Grandma Lin was turned over on her own, so there were no bed sores. But this visit made the nurse very worried.
Today I saw she has pressure sores. The whole diaper was very wet and full of stool. So after I helped her deal with it, I helped her change her diaper, wipe her body clean, and then change her clothes and pants.
Since the suffering cannot go out to seek help, the blessed people should go in to help proactively. Facing a declined birth rate and aging society, more people are needed to accompany and care the disadvantaged.
In Taiwan, more than 40% elementary school students are short-sighted. To avoid the progression of myopia, many are turning to the use of mydriatic eye drops. Some parents believe that this can cause cataracts. Let's see what the doctors say.
A 7th grade student surnamed Kow returned to the clinic to control myopia through the use of mydriatics. Her problem began 4 years ago.
Dr. Zheng will look at her condition every time she comes back to the clinic. The medicine will help her change it. Her initial vision was 0.4 to 0.5, and in the 5th and 6th grades, the degree was 0.8, 0.9, and even returned to 1.0.
Mydriatics are currently the main drug used to control pseudomyopia in school children, but some parents may think that mydriatics can cause cataracts. Is this true?
There's no research to proving mydriatics causing cataracts, to proving the two are directly related. But when using long-acting mydriatics, we recommend when outdoors one should wear sunglasses or a hat to reduce the amount of ultraviolet rays entering the eyes.
Mydriatics will dilate the pupils, so it is necessary to prevent ultraviolet rays from entering the eyes. In addition, the doctor will arrange a patient to return to the clinic to confirm the medication and myopia control.
I'll definitely measure intraocular pressure on a routine basis and look at the kid's optic nerve and measure his vision. We look to see if the best corrected vision can be maintained at 1.0. Outpatient equipment such as a slit lamp can see if the children's eye focus is completely clear.
Parents can get peace of mind with professional medical advice. In addition, doctors also remind students that maintaining a good lifestyle, diet, exercise, etc. can prevent an increase in myopia.
An isolated senior in Taitung, Taiwan was found to be living in a messy environment with dark faces and unfinished foods. Nearly 40 volunteers from the community gathered to help clean up the house, providing Grandma Chen a comfortable living space once again.
Once the door is opened, a foul smell comes out. The house is filled with excrement. A bowl of unfinished soup is also found in the kitchen. It smells unpleasant with many swamps grew. Such an environment is actually Grandma Chen's home. In face of the mess, volunteers do not get retreated. They work together to clean up every corner of the house.
Although it is not an easy task and it smells bad, everyone can feel the Dharma joy. We cleared out everything she doesn't need from inside and cleaned the floor as well.
In the cleaning team, there are also staff from Coast Guard Administration who are usually accustomed to fierce winds and waves, but were greatly shocked by the house condition.
It is the first time for me to come across such a house filled with dogs' feces, and everything is very messy. I expect myself to do as much as I can, so in today's situation, I hope with the spirit of rescuing a drowning person.
Volunteers in the community led everyone to help Grandma clean her house, returning her a comfortable and clean environment. Volunteers also give her love reminders and encouragement.
I hope Grandma will keep this good environment. Only by doing it, she can have a clean place to stay and have a better health.
Tzu Chi volunteer Tian Changfu used to be addicted to gambling in his youth. After his wife convinced him to change, he started to earn a living by making rice puffs and joined Tzu Chi. Now at 75 years of age, he's an indispensable volunteer at a recycling station.
With a sharp whistling and an exploding sound, the aroma of rice wafts through the air with white smoke, revealing handmade rice puffs. This is skill honed from decades of experience. The maker of rice puffs is Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Changfu. Although he has long since retired, he has brought back his exceptional skills for charity sale.
It may be hard work, but it's for doing good deeds, so I'm happy. My daughter and my wife, they have both come to help.
The whole family has come to contribute because 25 years ago, rice puffs was the very thing his wife used to lead him into Tzu Chi.
I suggested a charity sale, and he agreed.
Once I joined, I just knew that this felt right.
Rice puffs has cultivated many good affinities for Chen, but back when he was just married, he used to have a gambling addiction.
I told him that this wouldn't do, that if he continued, his children would also become addicted to gambling. And because he's very filial and he's the eldest son in his family, I suggested he could try to start a business.
Chen took his wife's words to heart, and Li used her wisdom to lead his path away from gambling and to start doing business. After joining Tzu Chi, they also both spend their time engaging in community service and recycling. Always giving his best in everything he does, there is no sign of the bad habits from his youth. Chen Changfu has turned his life around and become a motivated, selfless Tzu Chi volunteer.
Although few in numbers, St. Martin Tzu Chi volunteers continue to visit nursing homes and single-parent families during COVID-19, delivering food and daily necessities. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a Chinese New Year ceremony and delivered red envelopes of blessing and wisdom from Taiwan.
Tzu Chi volunteers invited local community volunteers to participate in Lunar New Year celebrations. During the festive tea ceremony, they especially introduced the red envelope of blessing and wisdom that was delivered from Taiwan.
First, they go to the farm to meet up with the farmers, help them to plant the rice, get all the things together, and then they put each grain of rice into this envelope.
Although Tzu Chi volunteers in St. Martin may not be as numerous, they have done no less deeds in the last year during the pandemic, visiting nursing homes and delivering supplies. The seniors contributed by donating bamboo banks, hoping to see them again soon. The pandemic also made times even harder for single-parent families, many of whom were struggling even before the pandemic. Volunteers delivered rice and food supplies and also encouraged them to participate in volunteering and to make their lives more meaningful.
Thank you, Tzu Chi Foundation. Thank you, Master Chen Yan. Happy New Year!
By helping each other, they have overcome the difficulties of last year and will work together in good faith, hoping that the new year will be brighter.
And in photos of the coast of Taiwan taken by Director Qi Bolin, there are fish farms in Mituo, Kaohsiung that look like beautiful emeralds. Director Qi was first simply attracted by the geometry of the land and only later learned that the fish farms were the cause of land subsidence. Here's more in our report.
余温密布所形成的几何构图非常美丽，实际上却是造成地层下陷的主要原因。 这是过去只想拍美丽照片的我所不曾理解的。大地地理杂志就像
The Earth magazine asked Qi Bolin if he could provide pictures of fish farms. He was happy to do so as there was a dark green and light green pattern, like a gem on the ground. The pattern of these fish farms that he provided hoped to earn him praise by the magazine, but the result was not what he expected, because when the next issue of the magazine was published, the topic of discussion was the impact of fish farms and stratum subsidence.
From the late 1980s to the late 1990s, the so-called era of rapid economic development, we actually saw a big outbreak of aquaculture.
At that time, because the government encouraged the development of fishery resources as much as possible, the central government also encouraged local governments to build fishing ports. Therefore, the density of fishing ports in Taiwan was very high.
Taiwan's coastline has a fishing port for every 4 to 7 kilometers. This is a historical product of the pursuit of rapid economic growth in the past. We came to Kaohsiung Mituo, which was filmed by director Qi Bolin, to further explore the current situation of the fish farm industry.
Our house is in this area here, more than 5 hectares. Is it for milkfish? No, my father and grandpa raised milkfish, but we changed it a bit.
In the early years, in the relatively low-density breeding process, it was actually a method similar to nature. When it got bigger, we must do intensive breeding.
Originally, the natural method of mixing clams, grass shrimp, and milkfish was used for mass production, along with groundwater or seawater, which must be extracted, which caused stratum subsidence. Here at Mito, because there's no underground water, seawater is used.
Mito is divided into 3 districts. We're the most northern, and our 3 areas don't have any freshwater wells. I heard my mother say that my grandpa also dug about 210 and 240 meters and still did not get any water.
The fish fund is a product of the rapid economic development in Taiwan. However, as the scale of the market faced by farmers is shrinking, the acceptance of photovoltaic panels is gradually increasing.
The agriculture area of the Mito fish farms is as much as 600 hectares. The Fisheries Department, the Council of Agriculture, has begun a plan to use 40% of the fish farms as pioneer zone for solar power. However, because the holdings of these private land are very complicated, it's very difficult to promote this pilot program. For bird watchers, fish farms are not good for wild birds.
We now see that there is mainly an egret forest over there. The location of the egret forest is probably far from these fish farms or homes, so there is less human interference, so it chooses to build nests in that place. The bird that is most attracted to fish ponds is the egret, followed by the cormorant.
Groups of herons stand next to the fish farm waiting to eat. They don't move at all and are very cute, but conservationists worry that human development has caused wild bird species to become less diverse. The flood detention pond, which was originally dominated by wild geese and ducks, has become a place where herons go to defecate because of the large photoelectric panels. This means that wild geese and ducks no longer come. This has caused public opinion to turn.
The Endemic Species Research Institute collected nearly 60 years of changes in the mudflats of the entire western coast of Taiwan and found that the area of mudflats has been reduced by almost 60%. First of all, migratory birds don't have a habitat anymore, and secondly, they don't have a food source, so the entire population and diversity are greatly reduced.
Experts and scholars suggest using eco-friendly methods for birds to slowly bring back the ecology.
Fishermen can keep the water level, but after the harvest, they could lower it, which could increase the level of usage by birds.
Through the lens of Chi Bowling, we can see that humanity can coexist with nature, and though it has struggled for 400 years, is it still possible to live with the natural ecology as well as develop humanities and culture? We should find a way for mutual prosperity and coexistence in the coming century. I think it's a very important message that Chi Bowling wants to give us.
The whirling ocean and beautiful island, there's so much natural man-made beauty captured by Chi Bowling. We want to take a new look at our environment and reflect upon our future.
An accident at Taiwan Railway Taitung Haiduan Station this week caused 2 dead and 1 injured. Tzu Chi volunteers visited the deceased family, offering condolences and emotional support. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.